Hello and welcome to Gameday U, Oklahoma's only weekly football pregame show on TV. I'm your host, Cam Williams, and I'm joined alongside my esteemed analysts, Michael Thompson, Hallie McPherson, and Andrew West. And last week, the Sooners took on the Golden Flashes of Kent State, and we're going to pick it up in the first quarter where Michael Hawkins Jr. is going to find Isaiah Satania for the 30-yard scramble drill touchdown to make it 7-0 Sooners. Early second quarter, Hawkins in the red zone now is going to find Caden Helms for the 3-yard score to make it 17-0 Sooners. The next possession, Danny Okoye gets in on the action for his first sack of the year, and the redshirt freshman from Tulsa is hyped up. Up 20 now, and the Sooners and the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week, Tate Sandell, is going to drill this 55-yarder, which would have been good from 60. And then the first turnover of the year comes from R. Mason Thomas as he strips this ball and Grayson Holton picks it up and scores. The Sooners will go on the roll 44-0. And Michael, what do you have on the famous tortilla presser?
Well, the OU football team has gone missing this week from their outdoor practice field. Where are they? Well, they've moved indoors as they prepare for the Red River Showdown. Why? Well, that is the question that everyone has been trying to answer.
Day 2 John Mateer watch, currently embedded in one of the bushes outside of Gaylord Family Oakland Memorial Stadium.
Sooner Scoop's Eddie Radosevich is hiding in a bush because of the most famous thumb in Oklahoma. Is OU trying to hide John Mateer? Brent Venables says they're inside because they finally received air conditioning in their practice facility, and added this.
Practicing in 71-degree weather is a little different than 90 degrees.
I love you, BV. That's some bull you just said.
It's not hot right now, so I don't know what he's talking about there.
Clearly, students don't buy it. One being Cooper Whitaker, the viral tortilla presser who did his own reporting when he found himself face-to-face with Mateer while working at Chipotle.
Kind of try to keep it composed, but then I was like immediately like, so how's the thumb? You know, and then I was like, are you playing for OU Texas? And he was like, yeah, definitely. And then I was like super geeked, you know, like the whole conversation after that. He showed me his thumb. It was only stitches, no cast. He said the doctor shouldn't put 3 nails in there, so he's all good.
While Venables says one thing, Whitaker says this.
BV has been very careful with his words recently. He's been like, we assume he's not playing. We say these things. He's like, oh, you know, he's like trying hard. But what Mateer told me is that he definitely wants to play.
The tortilla presser's reporting might not be credible, but this take is.
I don't hate a lot of things, being a Christian and all, but Texas is from Satan.
Cooper also went on to say that Texas has horns just like a certain someone who lives in a very hot place. His take might be questionable, but so could John Mateer when the injury report comes out.
Yeah, Michael, the SEC released the initial injury report Wednesday night, and quarterback John Mateer was in fact listed as questionable for Saturday's showdown versus Texas. I think he plays and shows his version of Sooner magic.
Well, if Mateer is playing, he will be the same guy we've seen all year. There is no chance that Brent Venables throws him out there if he is not healthy and ready to go. With him being questionable, I think the tortilla slinger is right, and Mateer will take back the golden hat.
Michael, that is in best case scenario for the Sooners. It will be difficult for Mateer to play exactly how he used to without fully practicing in about 2 weeks. But then again, it is money Mateer. He will turn the river red for his first OU Texas game.
The only thing that's questionable is if the turkey legs at the state fair are real. I believe there is zero doubt Mateer is playing, and let's not forget, this is the same dude that balled out in the fourth quarter against Auburn with a broken thumb. Like the song says, Johnny gonna be good.
Yeah, this Sooner squad is stifling on defenses. They are #1 in the nation in 6 defensive categories, most notably in total defense. And they're facing a Texas O-line that has struggled all year, but the Sooners aren't taking them lightly.
You know what I'm saying? Versus Texas offense, you know, a lot of different plays. You know, you see some guys, get by the O-line, and some guys, the O-line, hem him up, have him there. So, just really just watching, different things that the offensive line is doing. And, we got BV in our corner, so, he going to put us in the right spot.
The Sooners can force a turnover after all, but not just a turnover. A scoop and score thanks to R. Mason Thomas and Grayson Holton. But the focus for OU's defense is now on Texas, and Kobe McKenzie shared his advice for the new Sooners playing in this game for the first time.
It's nothing like it. It truly isn't. From the moment that you step on that bus to drive over there until you get off the bus to walk into that stadium, it's really thin air. competitive. I was literally just watching a video of when the defensive line, Ronnie Perkins and all those guys got into it with him pregame, and you don't have another game like that.
All week, almost everyone has been trying to figure out which OU quarterback will play, even hiding in the bushes during their practices. Is it Michael Hawkins Jr. or is it John Mateer? For the Sooners, they feel good about whoever's name is called.
We have the utmost confidence in both those guys, whoever runs out there. And, like I said, we're just going to revert back to our standards as an offense. We're going to do what we do and go out there and don't let Oklahoma beat Oklahoma. And, we can have success no matter who runs out there. So we're behind both those guys, and we believe in both those guys.
We all know the history. Whoever dominates the run game is usually the team that comes out on top. Both teams' run games have character, and by character, I mean problems. But OU offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle knows the key to success is to just keep going.
Comes from a spot of, earning it in practice, just like it does with every other position, right? Those, and our running backs, all of them have practiced really, really well. But I think there's been a great consistency every single day with Torrey Blaylock. Jay Knott the last 2.5, 3 weeks has been extremely consistent at practice.
Great insight there from Arbuckle. Coming up after the break, Darby McCormick has a story that'll keep moving. Stay with us to see what she has to say about the game.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I know sometimes we get into it, and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back to Gameday U. The Sooners face the Longhorns this weekend, and there's an annual run taking place. Gameday U reporter Darby McCormick has more on a very special game ball that's heading to Dallas.
A tradition unlike any other, and while I am talking about the Cotton Bowl, where it all starts is the run to it. And from the grounds on Owen Field all the way to Dallas, Texas, every step isn't only for bragging rights against the University of Texas, but also for honor.
Good morning.
Bright and early, members of OU's Naval ROTC unit begin their journey by foot to the Cotton Bowl.
I believe it's rooted in something special. Not just the odds we have against Texas this weekend, but our shared sense of obligation.
A trek of 180 miles over 2 days while in a government shutdown, making this journey a big choice. A journey that shows just how much these students are committed.
Each of you are here right now voluntarily. You could have easily not been here. You could have easily chosen not to engage in service. You joined the Navy ROTC, midshipmen, sailors, Marines, and then this morning you had an out not to be here, and you chose to be here.
And from that commitment, you can see the run to the game and the game itself isn't that different.
The race represents so many of the same similarities when it comes to our mission. Teamwork, hard work, dedication, toughness, commitment, the ability to overcome and persevere. When you pull a hamstring, when you when you trip up and hit the pavement and have a little bit of road rash? You say good. Everybody say good. Good. Say good. Good. Say good.
And if the mindset is the same for Team 131 and the team carrying their game ball, their goal is the same too.
1, 2, 3, red!
And no matter the score, when pads of crimson and burnt orange collide, it'll be the boots on pavement heading to the Cotton Bowl that truly make this Red River Showdown tradition. Reporting from Owen Field, Darby McCormick, Gameday U.
Thanks, Darby. I'm not much of a runner myself, but the chance to play in a game like OU Texas is something players run after their whole life. Gameday U reporter Hunter Cornejo has more on the Sooner that's got to win a thumb war before he gets that chance. Hunter, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Not today, Andrew. John Mateer's had this game in the Cotton Bowl circled since he joined the Sooners. However, he suffered an injury versus Auburn that required surgery on his thumb. According to a report from ESPN's Pete Thamel, Mateer is, quote, pushing to return versus Texas.
I went to one growing up. Obviously, I know a lot about it. Grew up in Dallas. Every weekend it goes on. So everybody's talking about it. I'm really excited for it. The atmosphere and the competition will be great.
He's doing his normal protocol. He's done zero good-on-good work.
Gotcha. What is it about this injury?
I don't know. I'm just going to cut you off. I don't know anything about the injury. So when they tell me he's available, I'll let y'all know.
John knows his body. He understands, ultimately what's best for the team, but, he doesn't want to put himself in a compromising position either. So whenever he's, trending towards that darker shade of the gray, he always has his body in mind. He's a competitive kid. Of course he's going to try to, get as ready as quick as he can, but ultimately I don't think anybody wants to put him in a compromising position.
Now, John Mateer has yet to speak to the media following his injury versus Auburn. If the Heisman contender were to start in the Red River rivalry, it would be just 17 days following his thumb surgery. Mateer was listed as questionable on the initial SEC availability report.
Thanks, Hunter. When we come back, we'll have more on this weekend's big showdown with Texas. Stick around for more Gameday U.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundedouttogether.org.
Welcome back to Gameday U. Texas starting quarterback Arch Manning has been in the limelight since his days in high school. Now, he's starting in his first Red River Showdown. Gameday U reporter Darby McCormick has more on Manning.
Former OU football player and legendary Texas head coach Darrell Royal led the Longhorns to 3 national championships and is now the namesake of DKR Stadium. But Texas fans are hoping to pride themselves on another type of namesake in starting quarterback Arch Manning, who knows it's going to take a lot of fight to spread his own type of Manning magic.
Obviously, when you come from a family that's been here, it's nice to have that. You can reach out and they're supporters of you, but I've always dreamed of playing in the SEC and playing at big-time football, so it's kind of a dream come true, and just got to go play well now.
While he looks forward to starting, he looks back on his relationship with Quinn Ewers and is ready to lean on him, leading into big games like the Cotton Bowl.
Probably not fun having me as the backup, but he handled it like a pro, whether it was media or just taking care of his body and film study. He was a pro and still a friend to this day. I still ask him for advice. It seems like in big games he played better and he prepared the right way, so I'm definitely going to text him leading up to that game and get all the advice I can get. That's a fun one.
One game that he seems to be looking forward to play.
That game's awesome. I don't know if any of y'all been to that, but it's a fun one. They split it right in half with the state fair around it. It's a fun one. The Venables defense is always going to be good, and it's going to be an exciting one. I'm fired up.
We've seen the Manning last name in Tennessee orange, Ole Miss red and blue. It's now time to see what a Manning can do in burnt orange and white. Reporting from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia, Darby McCormick, Game Day U.
Thanks, Darby. This Texas squad averages 6 yards per play, good for 51st in the nation, and this Sooners D-line will be ready.
Well, the game is going to come down to Arch Manning. He has thrown 5 picks so far, and things have not been clicking. OU has the most sacks in the country with 21 and the #2 passing defense. It's a tough situation for Arch to put it together, but if he does, this could be an all-time classic.
Along with that, Michael, the Longhorns aren't providing much protection for Manning, and that's not a good combination to have with this OU defense. Manning was sacked 6 times against Florida. Florida is 24th in defense, and OU is #1. Let's just say that.
While the Texas offense plays Candyland, their defense is actually playing football. The Longhorns are 13th in total defense, and with guys like Anthony Hill and Michael Taft running around, handling that defense is like wrestling a greased-up hog.
Now, let's take a look at the SEC slate of games for Week 7 of the 2025 season as Taylor Green and the Razorbacks travel to Knoxville to take on the 12th-ranked Bulls at Neyland. That should be a fun one.
Yeah, well, how about the team that jumped OU in the AP poll? Texas A&M hosts Florida, who proved that they might not be the doormat that some thought they were. But A&M looks legit, and Florida's DJ Lagway is doing his best Jameis Winston impression so far. With 7 picks and 7 touchdowns, good luck at Kyle Field. Now, I've been harsh on Jackson Arnold, and now he's got to play Georgia. But that Bulldog defense has holes. Jordan Air Stadium is going to give Georgia a speed boost back to Athens, even though they don't really need it. Auburn takes down Georgia for the first time since 2017.
And the Gamecocks head into Tiger territory this weekend. Both teams are coming off a bye week, and LSU previously lost to Ole Miss. And South Carolina faces all ranked opponents the next 5 weeks, including OU next weekend.
Yeah, Hallie, we'll see if Lenore Sellers and the Gamecocks can pull off that upset. Coming up after the break, we'll break down some of the keys to a Sooner victory this weekend against Texas. Don't go anywhere.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Welcome back to Game Day U. Now, it's time for us to break down some of the keys to a Sooner victory versus Texas. I'll start with the battle outside the numbers. OU's wide receivers need to take advantage of a Texas secondary that's been quite frankly bad and underwhelming all season long. And the Sooners' passing attack is poised to have a breakout game as they have yet to put together a consistent deep passing attack this season. Why can't it come against Texas? The Longhorns gave up 300 passing yards versus a Florida squad who doesn't have half the talent on the outside that the Sooners have.
Well, this game is going to come down to Arch Manning. The Longhorn offensive line was not able to protect him at all in their first SEC game against Florida, which will be music to the ears of the Oklahoma defensive line, who, remember, sacked Jackson Arnold 9 times in their SEC opener. Florida recorded 1 sack against Miami and LSU combined, so if that defensive line wreaked havoc on Texas, alarm bells should be sounding at the thought of R. Mason Thomas, David Stone, and this OU defense.
That's right, Michael. Arch Manning was at or near the top of every preseason Heisman Trophy list, leading a #1 ranked team, and that was before the 2025 season started. But this offensive performance isn't completely his fault. Texas can't protect him or run the ball well, and he is literally leading the Longhorns in rushing yards with 160 yards, and that isn't even a lot. This Red River game will be the most pressure Manning will have so far and the ultimate test of what kind of quarterback he is.
Now, this isn't necessarily a quarterback battle. We all know who QB1 is in Norman. Michael Hawkins had his chance in this game last year, but finished that game with a QBR of 45. And anyone with eyes knows that Hawkins just doesn't have the touch Mateer has just yet. Some have argued that Mateer should sit out of Red River and think the long-term health risk. Those same people hold their nose when jumping into a swimming pool.
Yeah, Andrew, the Mateer versus Hawkins discussion has been the talk of the week for Sooner fans. Coming up after the break, we'll have some new faces on set, ready to make some bold predictions for this weekend's games.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Welcome back to Game Day U, where some new faces are here in the studio, ready to give some bold predictions for Week 7 of the college football season. With me are Chris Holman, Bella O'Neill-Dooley, and Dalton Davis. Up first, the top 15 early slate showdown between Heisman candidate Ahmad Hardy and Mizzou versus Ty Simpson and the Tide. Chris, who comes out on top?
Cam, it's been half a century since Missouri last beat Alabama. Since then, Alabama has won 6 straight against the Tigers, all by at least 18 points or more. I think the Tide extend that streak to 7 and win by at least 2 scores.
Chris, elephants are scared of mice, so he definitely should be scared of some tigers. Mizzou has Ahmad Hardy, and he leads the team with 730 rushing yards compared to Bama's Jam Miller's 182. When I read those stats, I thought I needed my eyes checked. Mizzou for the win.
Well, Bella, I agree. You do need your eyes checked. Mizzou has played no ranked teams this year, while Bama has played 3. Alabama is outscoring opponents 182-80. That's over 100 points. I don't care about nothing but the Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz.
I love the energy, Dalton. Next up is a Big Ten battle in Eugene. Kirk Cignetti's Hoosiers versus Dan Lanning's Ducks is a must must-watch matchup. Chris, who wins this one?
Cam, both of these teams are at the top 10 in the NCAA for total offense, but the red zone is where it matters most. Oregon scored every time they've been inside the 20, and I think that helps the Ducks take it in a close one.
Hey, you guys ever play Duck Hunter as a kid? Well, this time, the Ducks are the ones with the guns. Oregon and Indiana haven't faced each other since 2004, and the Ducks lost. They're in search of redemption, and as the number 3 spot in the AP poll rankings, they're in solid shape.
Well, Chris, it seems like you need to go to the same octave that Bella needs to go to. But, Bella, just like you mentioned, the Ducks lost, and redemption is only a thing for my exes, which they won't get either. Indiana is only allowing 9.6 points a game and putting up 47.8. Give me the Hoosiers.
I like it, Dalton. Next, Gunnar Stockton and the Dogs, go to Jordan Hare to take on former Sooner quarterback Jackson Arnold and the Auburn Tigers. Who comes out with the win?
Cam, Auburn averages 169 yards per game on the ground, with running back Jeremiah Cobb averaging nearly 7 yards per carry. If the Tigers' run game can get going early against Georgia, I can see Auburn pulling off the upset.
Auburn's going to get burned by the clobbering Georgia Bulldogs. Jackson Arnold is prone to getting sacked, and with C.J. Allen leading with 36 tackles for the Dogs, Georgia will be gnawing on bones while Arnold is chewing on grass.
Yeah, Bella, Jackson Arnold's O-line is going to get stood up like a guy on his first date, so he's going to get wrapped up like a burrito. Georgia has won the 8 past matchups with an 18-point gap each time. It's not going to be close.
Great pick. And last but certainly not least, the game that everyone has been waiting for. Number 6 Oklahoma versus an unranked Texas team in Dallas. What's the outcome, Chris?
Cam, this Oklahoma defense has been playing lights out this season, holding opponents to 3.5 yards per play, which is the best in the NCAA. I see them giving Arch Manning fits in his first Red River matchup.
Texas went from being the number 1 team in the nation to not even being on the radar. Against Florida, Texas had a chance to win, but in the fourth quarter, Arch Manning threw 2 interceptions and couldn't spike the ball in time. Arch Manning is going to end up living in a van down by the Red River.
That was pretty intense, and guys, this matchup is pretty intense too. Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. You better hit it. I want Oklahoma. Arch Manning wouldn't even start on my flag football team. With Coach Venables calling the defense and possibly having Mateer back, Bevo's pelt is going to be the Sooners' locker room floor rug.
And with this big Red River Showdown on Saturday, do you guys have any Sooner MVPs?
Yeah, Cam, I think my MVP is going to be defensive lineman Mason Thomas. We saw what he did in only one half against Auburn. I think he does the same against Texas.
Cam, I'm going to go with Isaiah Satenia. He was fantastic at returning the ball last game, and I think he's going to do some magic in Texas.
Yeah, Cam, my Sooner MVP is going to be this coat. But along with this coat, it's probably going to have to be Kip Lewis. He is leading the team in tackles.
A lot of good games to look out for this weekend. Thanks for watching Game Day U, where it just means more. For Chris Holman, Bella O'Neill-Dooley, and Dalton Davis, I'm Cam Williams. We'll be back next week when OU travels to South Carolina. Safe travels to everyone making the trip to Dallas, and have a great Sooner Game Day.